Before we start today's video, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Jingle bells! And speaking of Christmas, Oda delivered us an early Christmas present, chapter 1070. And boy, oh boy, what a great chapter. Wow. So we start off with Sentomaru collapse. We think he's done, but it's very interesting. He actually used Haki to deflect Lucci's attack, or so he thought he did, but Lucci was still able to get through. And Sentomaru is actually alive, and I think it's because of him using Haki, the little push that he did at Sabaody all those years ago that kind of saved his life. And Lucci's like, damn, that's crazy, but I'm still gonna have to kill you, because as long as you're conscious, we can't use the Seraphim. You know how I was a little heated last with Gear 5 versus Lucci? Yeah, Oda was just like, guys, chill out. I got y'all. And this chapter was literally just Luffy beating the living shit, no diffing Lucci. And it was fantastic to see because Luffy is taken over by that Zoan form of Gear 5 where he is just Looney Tunes mode, not even giving a shit about anything. And he is just beating the shit, absolute living shit of Lucci and throwing him around. He literally is getting pounded by Luffy. And it's kind of crazy because Lucci has not even landed one hit on Luffy. And my guy Luffy is doing Gum Gum Rocket, turning tubes into rubber so he can shoot himself off. And it's pretty hilarious shit. And he hit Lucci so hard that Lucci was passing out and had to stop using his awakened form. He just literally passed out. So Luffy no diff, Lucci confirmed. It was pretty much game over from the start. But we also get to see, interestingly enough, the Seraphims are moving on their own thing. Sentomaru. We have Mihawk Seraphim that is going absolutely crazy. We have Jinbei Seraphim actually going crazy with using Senior Pink's Devil Fruit. And it's really cool to see this callback. Frankie is crying, being like, hey, this is the Swim Fruit. Doesn't this belong to Senior Pink? And Dr. Vegapunk's just saying, yes, so Senior Pink is an Implo down. I'm able to replicate some Devil Fruits and some Paramecias I'm able to replicate without killing the host. Vegapunk then reveals that I can synthesize a blood additive, which will give Paramecia users this lineage factor that will grant their powers once transfused. So basically meaning if she gets blood of Boa Hancock and Senior Pink, can synthesize the fruit that's in their blood and give it to the Seraphims that are using it. So Boa Hancock's Seraphim literally can do the Mero Mero no Mi, which is fantastic. And we also get to see that's why Jinbei and the Kuma Seraphim are able to use their original Devil Fruit, the Erosa Shock and the Swim Fruit, which is pretty cool. He did say that Logias are a little bit more tricky, but I've been able to replicate fully Zoan fruits. Nothing really with Logias. Paramecia, I can do this additive if I just get a little bit of their blood. So it's pretty cool to see these fruits kind of passing around just because if you have a little blood sample. I doubt though that with God tier fruits like Luffy's Sun God, I'm not sure if you can pass that down just blood alone, but there's a lot left to like the ether of the unknown. Going back to the fight with Lucci versus Luffy, what I'm trying to figure out is, can Luffy get stronger in Gear 5 once he learns how to control his emotions and the will of the fruit? Because Zoan fruits have a will of their own and they kind of command the user to do their own bidding. So if Luffy's able to be serious in Gear 5, I think his power output will be insane, and that's his new goal in order to Blackbeard in the last left in the Navy. Like, he's definitely gonna have to learn how to control Gear 5 and the nature of the fruit so he can stop playing around and go 100%. We also get to see Boa Hancock's Seraphim actually helping out crew and telling him, hey, there's a rocket you need to get on. And Jinbei's like, hey, you're such a nice version of Hancock. And it's really cute because the Seraphim's like a child, but she's like, you insolent dummy, I'm just following orders. So she gets all shy. Very cute stuff to see. And by the time Luffy gets back from fighting against Lucci, he is in his old man state. And so we get to see the toll that Gear 5 takes on the body. I'm not sure how long Luffy can't fight for after he uses Gear 5, but he gets on the ship and he's going to escape with Vegapunk. And Sentomaru is just like, hey, I'm trusting you with my grandpa, please take him. And this is what I don't really get. Why are they leaving Sentomaru? Because the Seraphim are going to go crazy when Sentomaru dies or loses consciousness. So they just leave him. I mean, I guess the ship is kind of full, but there should be at least an empty spot or two where you can shove on Sentomaru. So Luffy and the gang take off with Julie Bonnie, where the real Vegapunk is, where the rest of the crew is. And Julie Bonnie's just like, yo, I'm going to go talk to Vegapunk because I want him to fix my dad. Then we go back to CP0. We see Lucci bandage himself up a little bit, is conscious again, and I don't think they killed Sentomaru because they don't really kill anyone in this series, but Sentomaru is now knocked out, and now CP0 has total control over the Seraphims, which is terrifying. Now it looks like CP0 actually has a shot going toe-to-toe with the Straw Hats, because they have almost essentially the world's strongest humans or the strongest armed forces of the Seraphim. And perfect little way to end the chapter, we have Kizaru. I think this is Kizaru's first appearance, if I'm not mistaken, since Time Skip. I don't really remember seeing this man. But he's like, on paper, this should make for a straightforward escape with the Straw Hat crew taking Vegapunk. But boy, are they in for a surprise. We'll proceed as planned, get as many warships as we can to Egghead Island. So now we're gonna actually have a full-on war between ZP0, Kizaru, and the Straw Hat Pirates plus Julie Bonnie. And to be honest, this is not looking good for the crew because the Seraphim are probably some of the strongest people. What I'm seeing though, for how the Straw Hats can get out of this alive, is they're protecting Dr. Vegapunk. He can definitely beef up the Sunny, beef up Frankie, and he can make a lot of weapons for the crew, which will be really great. And also, Kizaru is definitely like perfect admiral to come to Egghead Island, because just a couple chapters ago we saw Dr. Vegapunk having laser beam swords and weapons that can interact with light and hurt kind of like the refraction of light. So with the embodiment of light coming, even Nami, Usopp, and the gang can inflict damage to Kizaru. So I'm definitely super interested to see what's going to happen next. But let me know what you guys thought about the chapter in the comments below. And again, I hope you all have great and safe travels. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.